Good morning, and thank you to KC Security for sponsoring the show, and also thank you for tuning in on this Bum Slide Thursday, sliding right into Friday for you.
Lots of snow to slide on.
Oof! We got a little bit of a blizzard.
But you know what? There was a lot of blowing, but not a lot of actual stuff coming down. It was the same stuff just sort of being recirculated.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we were calling for, a snow squall watch, and then it turned into a warning. And
it's pretty slippery out there, though. Karen, if you're driving, just be careful because they've plowed the roads, but there's a lot of glare ice. They haven't sanded in my neighborhood yet anyway. Just be a little bit cautious. Give yourself some braking time out there, folks.
With the end of the year coming up, Twitter generally does kind of a recap of certain things throughout the year. For instance, the most mentioned Canadians on Twitter.
Okay, can I guess?
Yes.
Justin Bieber.
No.
Oh, well, Justin Trudeau.
No.
Who?
Male singer Shawn Mendes, and Justin Bieber was second.
Shawn Mendes beat Justin Bieber and most tweeted about.
Alessia Cara beat Avril Lavigne.
Okay, I don't even know who that first person is.
Alessia Cara, you know her song.
Okay, she says so.
Best male actor, Ryan Reynolds.
Okay, yeah.
Of course. Gosh, he's so cute. Seth Rogen came in second there.
Is Seth Rogen Canadian?
Yeah.
I don't know any of this stuff.
Female actress, Sandra Oh was the most tweeted about.
She didn't get a nomination, did she, this year?
No. And Shay Mitchell came in after her.
Who that?
Shay Mitchell.
I don't know who that is either. I don't know.
And the shows that were most tweeted about, Game of Thrones was the first.
Okay.
Then SNL, Stranger Things, The Simpsons, Schitt's Creek.
Mm-hmm. Catherine O'Hara got a SAG Award nomination.
She should.
Screen Actors Guild SAG.
She's so awesome in this.
Yeah.
Canadiana. Woohoo.
It's Gingerbread House Day.
Okay. Did you bring one?
No. Did you want to make one?
No.
Me neither.
I hate gingerbread. Do you like gingerbread?
Yes, very much so. We've talked about your Gingerbread Man. You're very specific about how you like the texture. It needs to be soft, not hard.
Yeah, I can't have a hard gingerbread man.
I feel the same way. I don't want it crunchy. I want my gingerbread soft and chewy.
Yes.
Oh, I don't want to plug anything right now, but I'll tell you, there's a cookie, and I think it's Tim Hortons, and I think it's like a gingerbread cookie, and it's got like a cream cheese filling.
Oh.
I tried it. It was really, you might probably like that.
I bet I would.
And it's soft and chewy.
Soft and chewy, I'm in.
Okay, poinsettia.
Poinsettia.
Okay, remember the story?
And it's poinsettia,
No,
right?
poinsettia. I don't know why they put the A in there, just to screw us all up. Poinsettia. So it was, remember the story?
No.
Okay, Joel Robert Poinsett.
No, I didn't know that.
He was the first ambassador to Mexico. He died on this date in 1851, and that's why this is Poinsettia Day.
Was that his favorite flower?
He brought it from Mexico to South Carolina, and he grew it on his plantation and would give it to friends.
And
that's how it caught on.
Beautiful. What a nice plantation he has.
And the story about the poinsettia itself is that a little Mexican girl, this is Mexican folklore, little Mexican girl was going to church for Christmas, and she had nothing to offer. And so she stopped by the roadside and picked some plants. And the moment she walked into the church, the top green leaves of this particular plant went bright red.
Wow. What a great story.
Thank you.
That's so cool.
I have another really happy story.
Okay, good.
Did you hear about Olivia Newton-John?
No.
Okay, remember the auction? They were auctioning off her grease jacket and her sandy pants that were broken with the zipper and everything, and the pink ladies jacket, and it was all for her Cancer Foundation in Australia. Mm-hmm. The millionaire doctor who purchased the leather jacket that she wore in the final scene in Greece, he's $243,000 he bid.
Wow.
And all the money was going to Olivia Newton-John's Cancer Research Foundation in Australia. He surprised her. He showed up with, I guess, somebody from her foundation with the jacket.
No.
They blurred his face out because apparently he's a doctor. He's involved in some very sensitive research stuff. He's a millionaire doctor, and he didn't want his identity exposed. He showed up and he said, "You and your music are part of the soundtrack of our lives. This jacket,
oh my word.
This jacket belongs to you, and it needs to be where in its home, which is with you." You own this jacket. And he gave
I
it
have
back.
goosebumps.
She cried.
Oh,
and then
no
he said, my
doubt.
hope is that you will put it on display in your Cancer Research Foundation in Australia. And she said, absolutely.
Oh, what a nice gesture.
I love that story.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Another nice story.
What else?
Apparently, in the middle of the night, there was a sound check going on for bands called Quincy Mumford and The Reason Why. Well, apparently, during their soundtrack, a couple came into the arena or venue and stopped and did some slow dancing to their music. Mm-hmm. And they were like, okay, who the heck is that? Well, it ended up being Bruce Springsteen and his wife. Can you imagine?
Was this in Florida by chance?
I don't know where it was.
Because you know that Bruce Springsteen is a neighbor of a friend of mine in Florida.
Really?
I'm not even kidding you.
Wow.
So he was slow dancing with his wife to the sound check.
How sweet is that?
Oh, there's Bruce.
He's so...
I like him.
I do too. His voice is so unique and so majestic and recognizable is the word I'm looking for.
I guessed correctly. Speaking of recognizable voices, on The Masked Singer.
Oh, yes.
Two more celebrities were unmasked. Two last night. We're getting right down to the finals now. Two more were unmasked, and one of them, which was the Fox, right. And I guessed it right. It was Seal.
Oh, you did guess that. Long time ago you guessed that.
Yeah, and he sounds great.
Does he?
And he would put on this whole friggin' funny personality where he was being all like flamboyant and very feminine in this fox costume, and there he is. Oh, and he was, Anyway, the
awesome.
Fox. Oh no, I'm a liar. That's the Fox. Seal was the leopard. That's okay, Michael. Not your fault. My fault. Seal was the leopard who'd been very flamboyant, and people were guessing RuPaul, and they were guessing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he was really playing up this whole flirting with guys thing.
Awesome.
But it was just Seal throwing them off the.
Man,
and his kids apparently are huge fans of the show, so his kids didn't even know he was on the show.
Wow!
Yeah,
wouldn't that freak you out?
And so he was saying, "I can't wait for my kids to know that this is me."
That's cute.
So the Fox, by the way, I believe the Fox is Wayne Brady from Whose Line It Is It Anyway.
He's an awesome singer.
I do believe it is. And the Rottweiler, now people are saying
Rottweiler?
Yeah, there's a Rottweiler in a costume. He can sing high rock and roll. And I've been trying to place the voice. Someone just said
John Bon Jovi.
No, they think it's Chris Daughtry from American Idol.
Oh, yeah. He's got a phenomenal voice.
Yeah. And then I've got a really weird... Okay, so the other person who was revealed last night was the Thingamajig. It's a big creature, green and orange and funny looking.
Thingamajig.
Green and yellow, and it was called a Thingamajig. Mm-hmm. And it turns out, believe it or not, Indiana Pacer basketball player Victor Oladipo and honestly, the guy needs to cut an album.
Really?
Never mind dribbling down the court. I was drooling on my couch. He can sing.
Really?
Holy smokes. So there's one more character, though, that I think I know, and I could be way off base. It's the Flamingo. Mm-hmm. She looks like she's little. People are guessing she's one of the Cheetah Girls. Somebody said Adrienne Baylor. Cheetah Girls was like a British rock pop female group.
Okay.
I think it's Reese Witherspoon.
Oh.
I don't know if she can sing or not, but I think...
She did a duet with Michael Bublé.
I think it's Reese Witherspoon.
Maybe it
She's
is.
talking about Legally Blonde, I think, and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that is Reese Witherspoon under there.
Really?
Yep.
That's so interesting.
And you know that James Corden does that crosswalk concert stuff?
Yes.
Do you know who he had on? Harry Styles. Harry Styles, like, you know, the pop British rock singer.
Huge.
It's the funniest segment. If you get a chance to YouTube it, it's so funny.
Really?
They shut down a crosswalk and they have 30 seconds to put on a show before the light changes, right? So they actually had him fly across the intersection. It was wild.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
so funny. Just quick before we go, we have 30 seconds. Michelle Obama was on Ellen, and she defended the fact that Ellen is friends with George W. Bush.
Yeah, there was a big controversy.
She was very, very classy about it. Well, apparently they went to a baseball game and then ended up sitting beside each other. And Ellen, this was a couple of months ago, and they were seen laughing and like, heaven forbid. Well, she said, a lot of my friends and I don't agree on every single thing. She said, why is it such a big deal that I'm friends with George W.? And the former First Lady, Michelle Obama, said that she really likes George W. as well, and that whenever they would attend funerals of like state funerals and stuff, he would pass her a mint. So that was kind of their thing.
Yes, I remember that story.
So he's a nice man.
Well, he also has a sense of humor. Did you hear what Hillary Clinton said about him when she did her interview on, was it Howard Stern?
No.
Have you seen the Howard Stern thing with Hillary? Oh my gosh, LouAnne, it's fantastic. She did like an hour with Howard Stern.
Really?
And she talks about the inauguration of Trump and his speech.
Awesome.
And after it was over, George W. Bush leans in and says, that was some crazy shit.
Apparently he's hilarious.
Yeah. So anyway, okay.
Way to go, Michelle. Way to go, Alan.
I have a very interesting show today. Al Arrington is a local author. Here's his book, Gang Politics. He's coming on to talk about governance. Do you think government? Do you think governing? Governance. It's really interesting. It's almost a series of essays. Could be very informative for people who are involved in things like boards and stuff. And it's just a really interesting outlook on government and governance. And then, Childcare Algoma is here.
Oh, good.
I know, fabulous. So lots of updates going on, plus LouAnne has the news. Stay with us on Bumslide Thursday. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Mornings with LouAnne and Tim. Al Arrington, nice to have you on the show.
Thanks very much, Tim.
Al, I know your name. I became familiar with your name when all this stuff was going on with the trains.
Yep, still an involvement.
Still an involvement because you own the name of your lodge is
Arrington's Wilderness Island.
Arrington's Wilderness Island. And it's the train to Hearst. Is that the one that's been causing the problem?
The lack of a train has actually been very devastating to tourism and cottages and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And the fight goes on, eh?
Yep. We still work at it.
So you've obviously had a lot of engagement with government at different levels.
Yes, very much so. I was actually president of Ontario's nature and outdoor tourism industry for 6 years.
When you joined that, is that a board then, or?
I was the chair of the board. Yes.
Chair of the board. When you joined that board, is that sort of when you started to figure out, wait a minute, there's dysfunction in governance, and tell me a little bit about how that experience led you to start thinking in terms of writing essays and books.
Well, actually, when I joined the board, actually, I had no clue about governance. Didn't even know what it was, and there was governance issues, and I decided to educate myself on it, and I became fascinated with it and started developing. I found that there was very little educational material for board members on the fundamentals of being good board members, good governance, that kind of stuff. So I started developing my own educational tools, actually.
And so through that development of these tools and stuff, the more you're thinking about it, you're actually writing, and you end up with but basically this is like a series of essays, really, would you say, or what?
It is, actually. The center portion of the book is a lot of is information about the how-to of good governance, actually, that I've come up with over the years. I started doing some education and doing some consulting and stuff like that with governance consulting and stuff the last number of years. And that's the culmination of a lot of the stuff that I've developed myself over the years.
And there's some charts and stuff. And tell me a little bit about these charts that you've developed that someone saw them and said, hey, you know what? These are really useful. You should do something with these.
Actually, one of the board members I worked with at NOTO was he was the Director of Education for Northwestern Ontario. And I developed some graphics in regard to education on governance roles and responsibilities, and he really liked them, and he said I should write a book about governance. And this was not the book I intended to write first, but government is frustrating for all of us, and actually my governance perspective allowed me to really take a look at why governments are so dysfunctional, and it really is serious governance issues.
So let's talk a little bit about governance itself. Can you sort of explain how proper governance at its best?
Governance at its best is a good delegation process from whatever the ownership of the organization is, in the case of government, the citizens, going up through representatives such as the Parliament, through to operations, which is the actual bureaucracy, and the accountability going back. And if you have good delegation and good accountability, then you have good governance, and the organization is very effective and efficient and stuff like that. We have governments generally across the board are horrible at governance. So ours is not nearly as bad as many others in the world. So.
We were talking before the show about how timely this is, that this book release is happening right now when there's so much turmoil going on with government and probably poor governance in our neighbors to the south, with Brexit we're talking about, that it's...
There's political parties have really become a serious problem, actually.
You talk about that in here, that it's becoming so partisan that people are losing sight of what above the people.
Right? Yeah, well, Parliament is actually, our Canadian Parliament is essentially a very large board of directors, and their job is to keep the government on track to serving us. And yet there's so much in confrontation internally within Parliament between the different political parties just fighting over who's in control. It's basically competing aristocracies. They call them a ruling party for a reason. It's not, in a lot of ways, it's not really. We don't really have a real democracy. What we have is an elected oligarchy, which is a group, and what we do is elect a group to rule us for a number of years, and then in the next election there's almost like instead of a military coup, there's a political coup, or attempted political coup to change who the government is accountable to at that point.
But when we have elections, is that sort of a version of a coup? If you change parties and say, I don't want this party ruling anymore, I'm done with you. This is it's not really overthrowing. It's a democratic way of bringing in new people to govern.
It's not really democratic because the elections are very controlled and manipulated. The parties control who can be run as candidates and stuff like that. So calling it democracy is a bit of an overstatement. But it's instead of if you go back to William the Conqueror and stuff like that, they did it with soldiers and swords. Now they do it with the election manipulation and media, and unfortunately media manipulation as well. So
the purpose of this book, what were you hoping to achieve? What do you hope will be the outcome? What do you hope people will take from this?
The objective of the book is to get people to look at government differently. First of all, that people should think of government as our government. It doesn't belong to the political parties. It doesn't belong to the political interests. It belongs to us. It should have a function. The biggest problem with government is a lack of focus. No government in the world that I've found has a stated purpose. Like most not-for-profits, businesses even, stuff like that, have a mission statement. Governments don't. There's nothing really concrete and central to focus. And that would be, to me, probably the best step towards having better governance in government is to have a stated purpose of government, so there's something concrete that we can hold them accountable to.
So it really, I got, to be honest, I got about this far into it, so
it's
I'm
dry
about
reading.
I don't think it's dry. I think there was a lot of times where I went, it's thought-provoking.
Well, good.
It makes you look at things a different way. Some things I agree with, some things I don't, but that's part of this. But that's what starts conversations.
Yes, it is, actually.
So now you had all of these essays and thoughts and stuff, and then you came along our friend Riley Smith, and she helped you put all this together. Is that kind of how that worked out, or what?
Well, it's actually...
Because Riley's name is on here, and I believe she helped you edit this, yes?
She did that, but we got together earlier because she and I were both involved with the train outfit.
Yes.
And I had started getting involved with governance consulting and organizational consulting, and Riley is a superb person for presentations, writing, stuff like that.
Right.
Together we basically have started doing some consulting, and then it went into writing this book and a couple other ones, actually.
So you have a couple others in the works, yes?
We would like to take the center portion of the book, which is strictly about governance education, and expand it into its own book. And
because that's something I think, Al, I agree that I've been involved with a couple of boards, and sometimes it's really helpful to have sort of a manual or just something that explains how it really should work, Is that what you're looking toward?
Yeah, well, actually, the fundamentals, we have 4 graphics that we basically can explain pretty well everything about organizations and analyze where they're having issues and stuff like that. So
is Riley going to be with you at the book signing?
Yes, we're both going to be there on this Saturday at Cambrian Mall.
The Coles bookstore is carrying the book?
Just up from Canadian Tire.
Yeah.
And we're going to be there from 11 till 4, basically all day Saturday.
So you're there so people can come and chat with you about what your ideas are, or how this all started, and if they want more information, to purchase the book.
But be careful, because I love talking governance.
Well, no, but I find it all very fascinating, and you're going to be able to sign the books, and it makes a great Christmas gift. If you've got somebody who's interested in politics, who likes to investigate other opinions and ideas, and is open to that sort of stuff, then buy the book by all means, right?
Yes, for sure.
And then a portion of the proceeds are going somewhere else. Tell me about that.
Well, we want to, Riley and I really want to change things. So we want to develop more accessibility to governance education. One of the things we're working on right now is some governance education modules for high school kids. I actually was teaching some high school kids about a month ago, and it went over very, very well. We taught 2 classes on governance, and we'd like to do that as downloadable modules, so teachers anywhere in the world can download these basics, fundamentals of governance.
Fantastic. So there you go. Al Arrington and Riley Smith will be on location at Coles Bookstore in the Cambrian Mall Saturday. Did you say 11 to 4?
11 to 4.
And the book is also available. Tell me where.
It's also available at Stones and
Shabby Motley. Yeah. Fantastic. Al, thanks for being here.
Thanks very much, Tim.
Great good luck with the book. Come back when you have more.
I will. Thank you very much.
We'll be back with more Mornings with LouAnne and Tim right after this.
I have such a great story to tell you. There's a woman who is 86 years old, not obviously, but she's a grandma. And she had put her acting career on hold years and years ago because she decided she wanted to have a family, so she had like 6 kids or whatever. It ends up that she is in a commercial. She just decided one day, I'm going to go and audition. She's in a commercial, and she's just thrilled because the commercial ran during her favorite show, NCIS. She's just thrilled. Her name's Hazel. So congrats.
So she's a national commercial?
Yes.
Hazel?
Yeah. Way to go, Hayes.
I mean, I can't get a commercial to save my soul. The only way I have to sit here and go, KC Security, take care of you and me, KC Security.
He's still here, right?
I'm not going anywhere.
No, not going nowhere fast.
I went to see a concert at the library last night. Libraries have changed so much. Helena Hopalainen says, here we are at the library, and guess what? We're making noise. Isn't it fun? So it was my friend Leith Harris and a whole bunch of other friends, actually. There's a whole group of ladies. And they put together, I think it's called Cantanta. They're a singing group, so it's women singing with women. Okay, so they started off just in their living rooms, taking turns, going from house to house, week after week, just singing for the fun of singing, harmonizing,
awesome.
Right? And they said, they got to one point, they're like, we're sounding pretty good. Maybe we should do more with this than just have food and wine and singing. So they decided to actually put together a concert in support of the library. Because the library does all these different, cultural and fun things. And so last night I went down to the James L. McIntyre branch, and it was hot chocolate and baked goods, $10, nothing. An evening like, oh my gosh, Rob Rock did the lights. Like you're in the back room in the
really?
Whatever that room is. There's a big room when you go through the library.
So James L. McIntyre is the main one.
The main one down there.
Right.
Yeah. So you go in this room. It's all set up, lights and decorations, and the ladies all came out, and they had a keyboard there, and they sang, and it was just the musical selections were stunning.
Really?
The harmonies were incredible. The balance was the feel in the room was lovely. There was a sing along. We all got to sing Christmas carols in the middle part of the thing. And then at the end, they announced that the $10 is going to the library, and it's going to be for the children's, to start up a section of the children's section for about like empowering women.
Oh my gosh!
It's so cool because all these ladies it's a group of ladies together talking about the friendship between ladies and women sharing, and they said it was not even just a musical thing and sharing their music, it was emotional growth too for them.
I bet. And confidence building.
Yes!
Imagine.
Congratulations, my friends.
Good.
I hope there's more from Cantata, and if you ever get a chance to go and hear them, by all means, you will love the music.
I'm so glad you
much talent
that.
in this city.
Yeah, there's a ton of talent.
So proud of my friends, too.
Yeah, good for them. Who's coming up next after the news?
Well, that's what's coming up next. The news and then childcare Algoma. So stay tuned. LouAnne has news from Sault Ste. Marie and beyond coming up right after this on Mornings with her and me. Cheers, my dear.
Cheers. Mm-hmm. Cheers to you. Ontario's 4 major teachers' unions will hold a joint news conference this morning to give an update on their ongoing contract talks with the province. The unions, which represent both elementary and high school teachers in public, Catholic, and French boards, have provided little detail about the planned announcement. But last month, the 4 unions issued a joint statement condemning the passage of the Progressive Conservative government's wage cap legislation. The unions say the bill, which caps all public sector salary increases at 1% per year for the next 3 years, violates their charter rights. They said at the time they were preparing a court challenge of the legislation. The government has said the wage cap bill respects the bargaining process, noting it still allows for employees to get raises for seniority, performance, or increased qualifications. Local teachers, support staff, and affiliates braved that cold yesterday afternoon as they rallied in front of local MPP Ross Romano's constituency office to stand up for the health and safety of workers, as well as to push back against cuts to special education services, the Ford government's plans to increase class sizes and introduce mandatory e-learning courses. This mirrored high school strikes across the province yesterday as well, which affected a series of boards, including the province's largest, the Toronto District School Board, as well as boards in southwestern, eastern, and northern Ontario.
So we well know what it's like. My own children have been in school. I've trained students to work in schools, and I know how difficult things are, and they're just getting worse with all the cuts. So we are certainly here in support of the rally and the efforts made by the teachers.
I am so happy with the turnout today because I think that shows you the dedication of the members in District 2 and why we're here. We're here for the kids. Yes, we're here about getting a fair collective agreement, but we're here for the kids. Get your act together, get back to the table, and let's negotiate a fair deal. That's what we want. We want the respect that we deserve. And that's not only teachers, that is support staff and early childhood educators as well.
We're talking facade improvements. We've got a big, huge grant that the
Sault Ste. Marie Downtown Association announced the departure of Executive Director Josh Ingram, who will step down from his role effective December 19th. The Board of Directors will be beginning a public search to replace Ingram, with intentions to fill the role in the new year. A statement reads that Ingram joined the SSM DTA in June of 2016 and has played a critical role in solidifying the operation and strategic direction of the organization. During his tenure, the association has won 3 Chamber of Commerce awards, as well as an Ontario Business Improvement Area Association award for marketing and communications. In the same statement, Ingram is looking forward to seeing big accomplishments from the DTA as a community member.
Other presidents have resisted congressional oversight, but President Trump's stonewall was complete, absolute, and without precedent in American history.
The U.S. House Judiciary Committee began its first steps last evening toward voting on articles of impeachment against U.S. President Donald J. Trump, beginning a marathon 2-day session to consider the historic charges.
I believe that 3 questions should frame our debate. First, does the evidence show clearly that the President committed these acts? Second, do they rise to the level of impeachable high crimes and misdemeanors? Third, what are the consequences for our national security, for the integrity of our elections, and for our country if we fail to act?
It's all part of their holiday celebrations. The Station Mall will be featuring multiple local artists to help shoppers get into the holiday spirit. Yesterday, Eugene Gassy was featured, and he's a local pianist and singer. Gassy is one of many performers who will be taking the stage in the mall from now up until December 21st.
Okay, so reality television. We were talking about, remember when Caitlyn Jenner got the boot from Get Me Out of Here, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, she was in the jungle. And the story was that when she left the jungle and came out, there was nobody there from the family to greet her, no Kardashians, no Jenners. Her partner was, I think, arrived later. And anyway, so there was this kind of a thing made about where was the family? Why didn't they show up to greet? So apparently the family has responded to the criticism that they didn't support Caitlyn when she came off the show. Nobody told them. Nobody reached out to them.
Well, there's that.
Her son, Mr. Jenner, I forget his first name, Cody Jenner?
Cody.
He said, we never heard anything from the production company. Like, nobody told us that she was coming off the show. Nobody, same thing, the Kardashian girls, except for Khloe, said, we had no idea. That,
well, don't they watch the show, though? Wouldn't they know?
But see, the show, LouAnne, is taped.
Oh, I see.
The whole thing finishes before it ever goes to air.
Oh, gotcha.
So they would have to have said, okay, you know, Caitlyn's coming off the show, come and meet her, and we'll film it out over the bridge or wherever they go. So that was the answer. They simply did not know that she was finishing up on the show, and that's why they weren't there. They did send, when she got back to her home again, all kinds of balloons and silver things and welcome home. So there was no bad blood there, except for Khloe.
Yeah, Khloe's like,
And another reality show, Survivor. For the first time in history of Survivor, I don't know how many seasons, 20 something.
Yeah.
They've actually they've kicked a contestant off. His name is Dan. I don't know how to pronounce the last name because I don't watch the show. This is his picture. He's either Spilo or Spilo. In the very early episodes, apparently he's very hands-on, touchy, invading personal space, not very a sensitive man and being aware of things. And there was a contestant named Kelly Kim. And Kelly actually addressed it with him on camera and said, you make me uncomfortable. You need to give me my personal space. Back off.
Back off.
He didn't. Apparently he continued. The behavior continued. And the producers actually had a one-on-one with him and spoke to him and said, you're being warned. Like, you need to... And anyway, other contestants, female contestants, used that as a ploy to get him off the show. They made stuff up about him.
That doesn't help anything.
Doesn't help anything.
Women?
And the producers are saying this is almost like a microcosm of what's going on in some workplaces. But anyway, ultimately, he was kicked off, and not because it was another incident that did not involve any of the contestants. Something that we don't know about and they won't reveal because it's confidentiality. The gentleman has been, by the producers, told he had to leave the show because of something else that he did.
I read that he actually got into a boat and touched a staff member's leg inappropriately.
Okay. So there you go. He's off the show. It's all that, you know, you gotta watch. You can't just...
Don't be stupid.
Don't be like that guy or
Harvey Weinstein. Oh my word.
Honestly.
So now what's happening is dozens of alleged victims have reached a settlement of $25 million with Harvey Weinstein. So that means that the agreement is he does never have to admit that he was wrong or did anything wrong.
No admission of guilt.
The insurance company is going to pay, so he's not losing any kind of money at all. But he is still going to trial in January on charges of sexual assault.
Are there two? I think are there two charges that are going forward?
And his bail has been changed from $1 million to $5 million.
It went up to 5.
Yeah. Because he had a security ankle bracelet, and apparently at least 27 times it was either tampered with or he removed it.
And they didn't know where he was.
Where does that arrogance come from?
His lawyers are saying, it was the batteries.
Yeah, okay. Get some Ever-Readies.
Yeah, right. Oh, man. Crazy. Anyway, this time, what a day we live in. Mm-hmm. Listen, I have a great interview coming up. Talk about fun over the holidays. You guys, if you have children and you're looking for activities actually it's going on right now, but all the way through into the new year, Childcare Algoma's got a whole calendar of events for you, and we're going to talk about that when we come back with Marissa from Childcare Algoma. So Marissa from Childcare Algoma, thanks for being here.
Thank you for
We have a
having me.
lot to cover.
Yes.
You have a community calendar for children's activities that is so expansive. It started when? Activities began?
December 1st.
So they're already underway.
So they're already going December 1st to January 4th.
Look, Michael's got a picture of the calendar. Look at all of those things, people. I mean, there's so many. You have to go to the website to really see it. But started on December the 1st and goes till when? Sorry.
January the 4th. So the end of the winter school break.
Right.
Just before the kids go back to school. That's when it wraps up for the season.
What perfect timing for families who maybe are looking for things to do to keep their children entertained and engaged over the holidays.
Yes, it is. It is an excellent opportunity for children and families. All the activities that are listed are free.
That kills me. All of this stuff is free because of all the partnerships you've worked on, right?
Yes, so it's the Community Christmas for Children, which is a partnership between many different organizations and agencies in the city. Our sponsors are all listed on the calendar as well. Okay. But basically every year we sit down and we say, you know what, this is when the school break is happening. We understand that, families are looking for things to do, and that can be sometimes a challenging time for families if they have, children being off school for a little bit longer than usual. Right. Even, finances and stuff like that. We understand those can be difficult times. Absolutely. So we want to ensure that the children and families have many different free activities. The United Way joins us to assist us in bringing these activities in the calendar and getting it out to everybody. We've got lots of print sponsors that help us to print the copies to get them out to everybody. Mm-hmm. So it's a whole city. A whole citywide effort. Yeah. And it takes place in a lot of these locations are schools, but the audience should know that just because the school is closed doesn't mean that things aren't going on, because you have what's called a community use of schools, right? So you are in the schools even though there are no classes going on. Right. Can you name some of the locations where there are centers in the schools? So we do have through the Early On Child and Family Center, which is the free parent-child drop-in program. We, through Childcare Algoma, do have a location at Holy Cross, St. Basil's School, Holy Angels School, Parkland School, Northern Heights, and Riverview, and we also have our En Hiver program at Notre Dame de Sceaux, which is our program en français. En français. Mm-hmm. Now, and one of the things that I didn't realize was if you're a parent, you can bring your child to one of these programs, and is it the Early Ontario, what's it called? The Early On Child and Family Center. Early On Child and you can bring your child, no cost. You have activities, you have, engaging things for parents to do with their kids. Yes. Already all planned out. Yep. Snacks included. Yep. Completely free. I had no idea. Yep. But the parent has to be present. Yes, it is parent-child interactive, so parents are welcome to come with their children, and we look forward to seeing you. Marissa, is that pretty true for over the holidays, that this is a family activity calendar, right? So this isn't you just send your children. You bring your children and you stay and engage with them in the activity. That's right. So all of the activities are adult accompaniment. Right. There are a wide variety, so we do have, like I said, programs through our Early On Child and Family Centers. We also have free skates, free swims that are sponsored through different agencies. There's movie events that are sponsored through different agencies. So again, it is adult accompaniment required, but there are a wide variety of additional activities in addition to our early childhood. Come on, I'm just going to name a couple, Marissa, that sound like so much fun. Holiday mug decorating, Christmas ornaments, magic reindeer food, holiday song and story, pajama party and cookie decorating, ice cream cone Christmas tree. This just goes on and on. Jingle bell jewelry.
So this is all, and this is United Way has also reached out to help finance this as well, right? Is that true? They find people who actually can contribute to this?
Yeah, so they sort of reach out to the many businesses and agencies that contribute usually every season as we come up. They'll reach out and send invitations out to those businesses that are sponsors, and then they sort of assist us in gathering the activities.
And Marissa, some of these things, I mean, the variety of times that these take place, you've got from 9 in the morning all the way up till like 7, 10 at night.
There's different, very different depending on the hours of operation of different locations. We're able to...
Morning, afternoon, mid-afternoon, evening, all the way through.
Yeah.
Who staffs all these things? I mean, how do you do all this?
It depends on the agency that's sort of hosting the event. With our Early On Child and Family Centers, we would have our team there. The free skates, it's just sort of come and go as you can.
There's some YMCA stuff. Obviously, you have YMCA staff involved, all that. Registrations, did they all require registration, or it depends on the activity?
Not all activities require registration. The ones that specifically do are indicated on the calendar with the phone number to call. So we also have the fire station tours, which is a big one. The guys at the fire hall do
I got one of those. They're a blast. I highly recommend that one.
Yeah, so they every year they've been contributing to that, and the kids love it. They get to go in and see the trucks and all the all the equipment that they use.
And the big fan boat thing.
Yep.
They turn that on for you. It's great. Okay, so, and this is all no cost?
All no cost, all free events. So we're very happy to be able to say that it is in its 29th season. And
29 years.
29 years that it's been going.
It's been going on longer than you've been alive, probably.
I've been fortunate to be the chair for the past few years.
Have you?
And it's been a really great experience because you get to see all these things that they can participate in.
Right. Ages. Do you go from what age would you say some of the youngest children are that you would have activities for?
Through our Early On Child and Family Centers, we are open to all ages, from birth up until school.
Like itty bitty little babies?
Yeah, I mean, some of the activities you'll see are a little bit more geared to the little bit older ones, we definitely have the space in our Early On Child and Family Centers that if you have a younger, an infant and an older child that wants to participate, that you can come and enjoy with both of those age groups. So there's the infant area that you can kind of play and interact with your infant, and then the older child is welcome to do the activities.
Holy smokes.
As well.
Okay, let's talk about where we're going to get this information. The website, right?
Yep.
And what is it, Marissa?
So the Community Christmas for Children calendar can be found on the Child Care Algoma website at www.childcarealgoma.ca.
How simple is that?
Or it can also be found on the Volunteer Sault Ste. Marie website through the United Way at www.volunteerssm.ca.
Fantastic. And I believe also if you go to Sioux Online's community calendar, Trina has this up for you as well. You can easily access that. So I want to thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I learned a lot. I don't have any children, but if I did, I would certainly be going to some of these things. So they sound like an absolute blast. Have a Merry Christmas, Marissa, and a Happy New Year.
You as well.
And if you have children, just get a hold of Marissa and the gang, and you're all set for the holidays. And we'll be back to say goodbye with LouAnne right after this.
Thank you.
It really is the most wonderful time of the year.
It is.
I love Christmas.
Yes, I do too. And you're leaving for holidays, like right after.
Boxing Day.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I'm going for 1 week. Keith's going for 2.
Without you.
Yes.
There's a holiday.
I was told I wasn't allowed to spend the extra week with them. I want a week by myself.
I can so understand that. Good for you.
You're getting time without me too. I'm going to be gone.
Yes, you are.
I think only 1 day.
Yeah, I'll miss you though.
Thank you.
I always do. Thank you to Casey Security for sponsoring the show every morning for us. We appreciate it, you guys.
We'll see you tomorrow on Friday. Ooh! On Mornings with LouAnne and Tim.